Hello, my name is Paula Tobin. I'll be doing the reading today, and it is from Numbers chapter 19. The Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron. This is the regulation in the instruction that the Lord commanded. Tell the Israelites that they must bring you a red cow without defect, which is flawless and on which no yoke has been laid. You will give it to Eleazar the priest, and he will take it outside the camp and slaughter it in front of him. Eleazar the priest will take some of its blood with his finger and sprinkle it 7 times in front of the meeting tent. Then he will burn the cow in front of him, its skin, flesh, and blood, with its dung. The priest will take cedar wood, hyssop, and crimson cloth, and throw them into the fire where the cow is burning. Then the priest will wash his clothes and bathe his body in water. Afterward, the priest will enter the camp, but he will be unclean until evening. The one who burned the cow will wash his clothes in water and bathe his body in water, but he will be unclean until evening. A person who is clean will gather the ashes of the cow and place them outside the camp in a clean place. They will be kept for the water of purification for the Israelite community as a purification offering. The one who gathers the ashes of the cow will wash his clothes, but will be unclean until evening. This will be a permanent regulation for the Israelites and for the immigrant who lives among them. The person who touches the dead body of any human will be unclean for 7 days. That person must be cleansed with water on the 3rd day and 7th days to be clean. If he fails to be cleansed with water on the 3rd and 7th days, he will not be clean. Anyone who touches the body of a human who has died and doesn't cleanse himself defiles the Lord's dwelling. Such persons must be cut off from Israel because the water of purification wasn't sprinkled on them. They remain unclean. This is the instruction when anyone dies in a tent. All who go into the tent and all who are in the tent are unclean for 7 days. Any open jar without a sealed cover on it is unclean. Anyone in the open field who touches a person slain by the sword, or who died naturally, or a human bone or a grave, will be unclean for 7 days. For the unclean person, they will take some of the ashes of the purification offering and place fresh water with it in a jar. Then a clean person will take hyssop, dip it into the water, and sprinkle it on the tent, on all the jars, on all the people who were there, and anyone who touched bone, the slain, the dead, or the grave. On the 3rd day and the 7th day, the clean person will sprinkle it on the unclean, so that he will have purified him on the 7th day. He will then wash his clothes, bathe in the water, and be clean at evening. Any person who is unclean and didn't cleanse himself will be cut off from the assembly, because he has defiled the Lord's sanctuary. He didn't have the water of purification sprinkled on him. He is unclean. This will be a permanent regulation for them. The one who sprinkles the water of purification will wash his own clothes. Anyone who touches the water of purification will be unclean until evening. Whoever the unclean person touches will be unclean, and the one who touches the unclean will be unclean until evening.